Hello there, welcome to Edu News 360. I am Faustina Safo. Coming up in this week's bulletin, basic school pupils across the country are beginning to feel the pinch of the absence of their teachers after 4 teacher unions withdrew their services in protest of government's failure to pay up 20% of their salaries as cost of living allowances.
We stayed in the house for barely a year and not being able to complete our syllabus, we are finding it very difficult to even prepare for our final exams.
Also, Prempeh College makes it to the semi-finals of Love FM's high school debate after a tough competition with KNUST Senior High School. Stay as we bring you all the updates from the quarterfinal stage of the Love FM's high school debate.
Those are not the yardsticks for blaming governments. They share the house. We are here to prove the empiricism of our truth and not what seems to be true. It is with this that we call upon all and sundry to rally behind as we squash and debunk the set motion. Thank you.
Stay tuned in as we bring you all the details of these stories and more here on Edu News 360. I'm Faustina Safo. Now to our first story. Teachers across the country have withdrawn their services in protest of government's failure to pay up their cost of living allowances. Well, Joy Learning Checks reveals that pupils at some basic schools in Accra are already feeling the pinch of the absence of their teachers. Now, some of them were spotted loitering around when the Joy Learning team visited, whilst others formed learning groups to help them cope and while away time. Well, Tasha Michelle has more in this report.
On a regular day at the Accra New Town Experimental 2 school, pupils will be busily absorbing lessons from their teachers. However, this routine has been distracted following a nationwide strike by aggrieved teachers on Monday, July 4, leaving the students idle.
We are the future leaders. It is why they told us that we should go. Some people were there last too. But you can still hang around and be reading your story. Stop playing. The teacher who said that he's sitting there. When he sees us, you use the cane on us. We just want to Christmas and go. In the house today, we'll be sending you a go and buy the food and buy the.
Reacting to the students' present situation, Headmaster Emmanuel Nyavo said there is a need for government to respond swiftly to the demands of the aggrieved teachers.
The living condition of the teacher is a big challenge in the system that we are, that day in, day out, prices of goods and services are going up. Most of our members' pay slips are bleeding. We are appealing to the government to at least listen to us. We love the job we are doing. We are ready to serve Mother Ghana.
At the Ejabin Memorial School, the situation was not different. Pupils who ordinarily would have been by their books were spotted chattering and engaged in physical activities. Others were also making use of the time to read their textbooks. Joy News engaged some of them.
I want the government to pay our teachers so that they can teach us.
The teachers are on strikes. I want the teachers to teach us so that we can be happy.
Some head teachers we engaged refused to speak on camera. Meanwhile, the government has appealed to the teachers to call off their strike as it works to address their concerns.
Now, in the Ashanti region, some basic school pupils in Kumasi resorted to personal studies. Correspondent Nanaya Ojima visited the new Asafu Basic School, where Class 3 pupils decided to keep themselves busy by going over the previous day's lessons.
It was a wet morning on Tuesday in Kumasi, but the rains did not deter the children from going to school. At the new Asafu Basic School, classrooms were empty as the students took to the school's playing field to have fun. The staff rooms were locked despite the presence of 2 teachers and the headmistress who were there to ensure safety of the children. Some shared the reasons for their presence on campus.
Our mistress told us we should come to school today.
When did she say that?
Yesterday. We will gather ourselves so that we will learn.
So when do you think you'll be leaving the premises?
I don't know what time we will leave. Yes.
In class 3, the pupils here have decided to go over the previous day's lesson. They trust the class prefect to lead them for the activity.
They say our teachers will not come, but we don't know the reason.
And they say we're training, Madam Omar Yabeba and Amekom Basic Schools, students were found idling on campus. Though head teachers were seen on the premises, they will not speak to our news team. For now, it looks like the daily decision to go to school rests with the children and their parents in the face of the strike.
And let's head to the Bono East region, where basic school heads in the Techiman municipality sent pupils back home contrary to directive by the Ghana Education Service to keep them in school and keep the school gates open, while the head teachers say that they did that for their safety. And Asabit monitored the situation and filed this report.
So as the strike action by various teacher unions across the country takes effect today, we are monitoring the situation across the Techiman municipality. Currently, I am in the Islamic basic school, and the head mistress have been engaging, Madam Isiama Fusina has been telling me measures she's taking to ensure that the pupils who are already here in their numbers are safe. She's instructed them to go back to their homes. We've been speaking with her. Let's take a listen.
Yesterday we heard it in the news concerning this strike action. But we also heard that at least the heads should be in school, open the doors, and then for the pupils. So this morning I decided to come and see what's happening here.
The situation isn't any different here at the Techiman Islamic Primary B, where the headmaster, Mr. Mohammed Boatin, has urged the pupils to return home, considering the fact that the teachers are not showing up today.
In fact, the situation, as you have come to see, I came around 7 o'clock to see the children around, but none of the teachers is showing up.
Well, let's head to Tamale now, where Form 3 students of some public schools have expressed their worry the strike by teachers, if prolonged, will affect their preparation for the basic education certificate examination. Now, they are appealing to government to, as a matter of urgency, address the teachers' concerns. Watch this.
Most schools Joy News visited were very quiet under lock and key, except for the chirping of birds and the movement of some security men. The school was literally quiet for a Tuesday morning. Earlier in the morning, Joy News has spoken to some of the students who said the strike action would impact negatively on their education.
I don't know that I would get on strike and I'm on my way to school, but if it's I would get on strike, I'm Form 3 student, and my teachers have to prepare me for the PEC exam. And if they are on the strike, how can I be able to write my PEC exam? It will affect my education.
At the Lamashegu cluster of schools, the children said they wanted to use the classrooms, but the security man would not allow them enter these classrooms.
We come to school today, and the security man said he don't know what's happening. He said we should go home.
Okay.
Yesterday they not tell us that they are going to somewhere, so we don't know. Today we just came to school. And the security man said that he's not going to open the doors fast. Enter.
At the SDA cluster of school, little Joycelyn questioned her teacher why she refused to teach even though they were in school.
She don't want to come and teach.
She doesn't want to come to teach, but no one is in school.
People were there.
People were there,
Yes.
and she still didn't teach. Okay.
The strike action is not only impacting negatively on students, it is also affecting food vendors who had come to sell.
Martina Bugri filed that report. Now, let's move to the OT region, where third-year senior high school students are worried the current strike by teachers could affect their pending final examination. Well, correspondent Peter Seno has been interacting with some of these students as well as parents. He filed this report.
It is day one of the teacher union strike declared across the country. Tuesday morning, Joy News monitored the situation in some schools in the region.
They said they should be in the house, but I told them that I want to come and see what will happen.
So what's happening today? What did you see?
I see that there is no teacher here. It's only the students.
Good. You are in Form 3 too?
Yes, please.
So how do you feel about the situation?
I don't like it at all, but we don't know what to do about it.
We stayed in the house for barely a year and not being able to complete our syllabus. We are finding it very difficult to even prepare for our final exams.
Some parents are also calling on government to immediately respond to the request by teachers so their children could go back to school.
Normal akosro until the teacher focus strike on we are right because yeah two normal so now yeah two teacher focus to we don't know what is going on. We don't know what is going on. They say they are allowance. So we appeal for the government to come to their aid.
I've also been joined by the district NAT chairman, Mr. Philip Obonye. He has been going around and we want to find out from him his observations.
Teachers are actually adhering strictly to the directive from leadership to stay out of work. So in some of the schools, they have been virtually closed down. Other places too, you go and meet only the head teacher at post.
Well, we know that the Education Ministry is currently engaging with the teachers to reach an agreement. But, well, while we wait for answers and outcome of that negotiation, teachers have made it clear that they will only return to the classroom if government pay up 20% of their basic salary as cost of living allowance. Mark Cranche is the General Secretary of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union. Listen to him.
We have always talked about this salary disparity among public sector workers. How can it be that some section of the public sector workers got last year and this year more than 45% and others are getting 4 and 7%? It is unheard of. And therefore we have called, and it is not today that we are calling for the review of the single spine pay structure. It has to be reviewed, and it has to be reviewed immediately. Now, the meeting on Friday, we saw it as an attempt to water down the request, because that is what government will always do. They will call for a meeting, and they will say, because we are engaging, you don't have a right to embark on a strike action. We saw far in advance this move, but we think that it is time, because we have waited for too long. Some of us started calling for this COLA way back in February 2022. Before May Day, we issued a statement, and all this while, no single invitation came forth. And that is why we think that we have gotten to our wits' end, and therefore we must make this declaration.
Well, you can send us your thoughts, your comments. If you're also a student across the country and you're feeling the pinch of the absence of your teachers, let us know on our social media handles. We are Joy Learning on TV. Well, moving on, Prempeh College has made it to the semi-finals of the Love FM's high school debate after a tough competition with KNUST Senior High School. Well, they debated their stance on the motion government should be held accountable for flooding situation in Ghana. Congratulations to Prempeh College, because though they lost the overall title last year, they are hopeful of reclaiming that title this year. Here are highlights.
To have their problems solved. The chair, in this country, we virtually pay taxes for everything. We pay withholding taxes, withholding taxes, corporate taxes, tax stamp, vehicle income taxes, rental taxes, gift taxes, pay as you earn taxes, communication service taxes, and now the infamous e-levy. The chair, a renowned economist, Sidney Casely Hayford, also agrees with us when he said, and I quote, "This is why we put them there. This is why we pay them. Nobody pays me to live as a citizen in this country. I pay my taxes. The ministers collect my taxes. They ride the V8, sit in air-conditioned offices, and enjoy privilege of state I do not have," unquote.
Representing Prempeh College, my name is Kweku Ampedu Esiama Manuel. Principal Speaker, against the motion before us today, and I quote, government should be allowed and I quote, government should be held accountable for flooding situation in Ghana, unquote. The chair permits me to expatiate more on some salient words, truths in the motion, and of course, as and when needed, exhibits shall be tendered to back our claims. The chair, government refers to a body of persons who have been mandated by a group of people to steer the affairs of a country, as accountable in this case means responsible. All sources from the Merriam-Webster online dictionary. Now, flooding, per my own understanding, is a situation whereby an area is covered with excess water, usually as a result of rainfall. All the chair, what the motion seeks to demonstrate is that the government is guilty of the occurrences of flooding in this country. And this, my sovereign speaker and I cannot afford to anticipate.
Corruption on the part of government officials is a major cause. Corruption in public procurement manifests as bribery, rent seeking, contractor client payoffs, and kickbacks. According to the recent study by World Bank Organization, corruption cost Africa $148 billion. That's approximately 25% of its gross domestic product. The chair, this leads to the execution of shoddy contracts, which in the long run lead to situations such as flood. The chair, this is the biggest problem our government is unable to deal with. Poor engineering work done on our bridges, our dams, our drains and gutters. The chair, let's have a look at this.
Of this particular bridge, that it is way too small to contain the volume of water that comes through. There's a building here where
the chair, this is all due to the demon corruption. Ministries and district assemblies all double in the same corruption. Technocrats and experts are unable to do the right thing because they sell their conscience on the altar of corruption.
The standing chairperson, for the purpose of my argument, I kindly request that we take a second look at the video exhibit tendered in by my opponents.
Cleaning out mud left in the wake of the flood.
My opponents, with all their alacrities, want to blame
when the flood waters came
in Ghana, whereas in real sense, these Ghanaian men and women are the same people responsible for this mess. Oh yes, the skeptical faces are in abundance. The House, I present to you expose number 3. Just have a look at this. From this analogy, it is crystal clear that indeed the evil men do follows them wherever they go. And the chair, it is high time Ghanaians stop such shameless and hypocritical attitudes and take responsibilities of their own actions, especially the young and able like my opponents. Arise, Ghana youth, for your country. The nation demands your devotion. Oh yes, Imadrimba, rise up for change and stop behaving like proverbial elephants, because you deserve better. The standing chairperson, the motion before this August House is, and I quote, government should be held accountable for flooding situation in Ghana. Representing Prempeh College, I am Godfred Kabiru Sanusi, a proud and eloquent subordinate speaker in opposition of the said motion before this August House. The chair, by the clear development of sound arguments made by my principal speaker, I will therefore proceed by adding organized facts as to who then should be held accountable for flooding situation in Ghana. Point 1, the chair, chiefs, clan heads, custodians should be held accountable for flooding situation in Ghana and not the government. We live in a dispensation where chiefs sell lands as if they were sweet candies for toddlers, all in the name of greed and the lost sense of patriotism on the part of our traditional leaders. My opponents alluded that government have failed in the supervision of these leaders, hence their killer actions. Wow, what a misguided judgment. Impartial panel of judges. It is with this that this same government enacted the New Land Act, Section 9, Clause 2, which stipulates, and I quote, chiefs, clan heads, custodians would be held accountable for random or wanton dissipation of lands. Impartial panel of judges. These laws are being enforced daily, yet our chiefs are embarking on these disastrous actions, and you are here contradicting the whole story. What a pity. And also, those are his personal opinions and his experiences. Those are not the yardsticks for blaming government. The chair, the House, we are here to prove the empiricism of our truth and not what seems to be true. It is with this that we call upon all and sundry to rally behind as we quash, squash, and debunk the said motion. Thank you.
It's okay, sit down.
So, as presented to me, I have the results. And have the results for KNUST. We have 3 judges, and these are their scores. For organization and clarity, Judge 1 scored 26, Judge 2 26, Judge 3 26, sums up to 78. For argument and development, Judge 1 scored 26, Judge 2 28, Judge 3 26, put together 80. Effective use of rebuttal, Judge 1 12, Judge 2 15, Judge 3 14, totaling 41.
Presentation style, Judge 1, 14. Judge 2, 14. Judge 3, 15. Put it together, 43. Role as a particular debater. Judge 1 scored 9. Judge 2, 8. Judge 3, 9. Put together, 26. So with 78, 80, 41, 43, 26, it sums up to 268. 268 for KNUST. Now the results for Pempe College. Organization and clarity. Judge 1 scored 29. Judge 2, 26. Judge 3, 25. Totaling 80. Argument and development. Judge 1 scored 29. Judge 2, 26. Judge 3, 25. Put together another 80. Effective use of rebuttal. Judge 1 scored 13. Judge 2, 15. Judge 3, 14. Summing up to 42. Presentation style. Judge 1 scored 14. Judge 2, 15. Judge 3 also scored 15, totaling 44. Role as a particular debater. Judge 1 scored 10. Judge 2 scored 10. Judge 3 scored 10. Put together 30. Sum total 276 as against 268. So moving on to the semi-final stage of the competition is Prempeh College. Now, I also told you about something that we have introduced in this year's competition, that we have the best debater for the day. Now, by way of the best debater for the day, we have books from Madam Catherine and some products from, Choco. And Prempeh College, please, thank you. Our best debater for today's contest goes to Miss Whitney Amponsa Pokia. And for reasons best known to my own self, Mommy, let me call on you. The principal for the Jackson College of Education, our chairperson, and our ambassador. I know it's been a very hard-fought battle, but they didn't win. But at least she takes away the best debater for the day.
Oh, you're still watching Edu News 360. We're taking a quick breather. When we return, we'll bring you our News in Focus segment. Don't go anywhere.